Hello, Jason inside the cold stage 0 garage. Cold meaning it's probably like maybe 40. Well, it's 40 up there. It's probably like 30 down here. Alternator is dead on this, and I'm also going to do I think the driver's side ball joint, Logan identified, needs to be replaced, and then the passenger inner tie rod. First step is to determine which alternator we have. There's a 120 and a 150 all amp. Those are big. These are like 60 amp and like those things. So first step is to identify the alternator. Here it is there. Let's see if I can, let's do, all right, there it is. So I know the back design is different between the two, so let's take a look at that. Snap a picture of that. Go to the internet and see which one we got. Well, based on that, so the difference, that looks considerably different. It's the smooth cover. It doesn't seem to be exactly the same, but I'm gonna have to go with the 150. I'll make sure when I order it, the backs look the same. Now looking at O'Reilly's, this is the 120, and the 150 looks pretty similar to what I have, so I can get it by today. So I'm going to order that. So with these, sometimes I think on these, generally it's just on these here, what happens is those aren't metal, it's just they're going into like plastic threads with this insert, and they start to spin. So what I did is I just applied pressure, just kind of pulling, got that in there, and applied pressure, pulling it out, and just spun it with that, and eventually it just heated up and melted through. So now I've got that hole and then these, so I can actually just throw a new, I don't think I can get those off, but I'll just throw a nut and a bolt in there, and here's an example of how that's actually supposed to look. So that little metal thread is in there. Getting this off was fun, so I had to push that clip in, and then each of these needed to be, they go into those slots, so you have to push that, in order for it to clear. I mostly used this tool, and then I had this tool. I was able to get in underneath on a couple and push up, because your fingers just weren't doing it. I've taken out all the bolts that were up here, and I just lay everything out kind of where I took it out, so I at least should be able to remember where they go. And then just gotta lift this out. I'll have to swing this around so that's out of the way. So I pulled this aside. I got the inner cover thing pulled aside, and broke most of the things. I'm gonna have to buy a whole bunch of these along here, but that's fine. And then pulling, so there were, these two, those two things there that were in those holes like so, and maybe this side. I haven't pulled this side apart yet, so just kind of squeeze those so that those are out. And then what you have to do is pop these 3 tabs out. I don't even remember exactly how I got them out, but once you get those out, and then it exposes the T20 star drive. And after taking that one out and that one out, and most of the ones that were down on the bottom have long since disappeared. So there's probably more to take out. I think there was one on this side that I was unscrewing and it broke, and this side probably already broke. I will make sure I tighten everything up a much better this time around. So all I have to do now is get in there and do these those tabs. See, there's one right there, and pop this out, then I can get this side out. Yeah, there's one that goes under here. That one broke. Yes. Anyway, oh, I've created a leak from my washer fluid reservoir. Hopefully I didn't crack something by moving this. I'd be pissed because that looks pretty specialized. Bumper cover's off. It's over there. Once I did those screws there, and then I just popped out these the light socket things. I'm going to replace those with new ones, new light bulbs, since I'm in there. Now next is to pull this forward, so I have to look at how we're doing that. But I think those bolts down there. I zip tied this up here with my big ass zip ties. Probably didn't even have to disconnect. I didn't. I did anyway. So I guess I'll screw that back in there. I got those 2 out on both sides. Wasn't too much. And then there's 2 nuts up there, and then there's one that I got from behind. Right there. So apparently all of this is supposed to move forward, be able to move forward now. So let's see what happens. That actually moved a lot easier than I thought. I just hit down here and I moved it enough so when I could feel that, I put like a little screw in there, and once I felt that one connect up with this hole, then I knew it was forward enough. So I could probably go another maybe inch, but we'll see if this works. If I don't have to, I won't. And then what I did was use my special tool. Just get that in there and release the tension, and then you push in that little pin right there, and that'll hold it, and then you can get the belt out, which this belt, I replaced this belt. I don't know how long ago, but it just doesn't seem like it lasted very long. I don't think you have to change them that much. It looks like I've got some sort of rub in there too. I don't know where. Anywho. So the next step is to take off the tensioner, and I think then after that I can get to the alternator. So then taking off the tensioner requires taking these 2 E10 reverse Torx screws. So this one, yeah, you can see that one. This one you can't really see, but if you just feel for it, you'll find it eventually. And that's also the 2 top bolts for the alternator. And then the other one is the bottom there. Yikes. Oh, I wonder where this one went out. It's down at the bottom there somewhere. Oh yeah. You see it right there? So that is right in the way, but they say a 12-point socket should get in there too. I am now removing this. Well, maybe I just need to just loosen it. Probably just take it out. This thing does not want to come out easy. Trying to be careful not to knock this. Did a number on my finger. I haven't quite taken the time. It's anyway. So yeah, getting this out. Trying to get this out. It's friggin' heavy too. I got my alternator, oil and filter, and the belt, and sprayed down all the oil on the compressor. Pretty gross down there. Anyway, I'm going to do an oil change as well, since I have a little bit more room here, and I mean it's due. So first I'm going to get this in. I just want to be done with this part. The alternator is in, but it did not go in easy. It was just kind of hard to get it finagled in there. Got the lines connected, and so I'm going to put the tensioner on, and then the belt. And this is what I also call the documenting my work to make sure I did it right step. And I'm gonna clean that up. Ooh, that's gross. That's gross. So I've got alternator plugged in. I've got the tensioner bolts on and tightened. The bottom bolt is tight for the alternator. I have the belt on. And it is lined up with everything. I think the thing that was maybe shredding the belt was this little thing was pulled out. You pull this out and it pushes this tensioner out a little, and if that isn't in all the way, I could see that was probably touching the belt. And then I did spray and clean up in there a bit. Get rid of some of that oil and get rid of a little bit more there, I think. A little more cleanup, and then I'm going to I'll push this back and bolt it in and start putting everything back together. Let's see, I have that tightened up down there. This air charge tube for the turbo. I couldn't find the screw for this, so I took it from this one. I'll have to find something else, but I can much easier get to this one, or even just zip tie it somewhere. All right, so that's connected, that's connected, that's connected, connected. Oil filter is in and connected. This is connected and tightened it down there. All right. So next is to push this back in, bolt it up, then put the front on. It's getting there, you know. I was told once a long time ago, you know, don't look at the big picture. Sometimes you'll get overwhelmed. Just, you know, pick at it, it'll be done. Because honestly, like, you know, stuff like this, sometimes it just seems so overwhelming, you know, something like that. It's so much simpler. But when you got to look at all this crap and how much you got to put back together, and It just seems like it's a lot, but just I'm not gonna look at it because I'm just gonna do bit by bit by bit. Eventually it'll be done. Well, while I'm in here, and since Cindy wants to spend her tax refund wisely, she wanted a new valve cover, mainly because this one has this piece is broken off here for the PCV membrane. I had to tape it on. It has popped off, and like this was, if you remember, this was filled with oil, and there's oil all the way down the side, and it was coming down the front here. Pretty sure it was all coming from this, hopefully. So I think it was $80. So, and it comes with the PCV membrane already attached, and the gaskets are all attached, and the bolts, new oil cap. So yeah, this is on and new, so hopefully that'll cure the oil leakage problems. But yeah, I'm not going to show it. It's just undoing these bolts, taking, I think, yeah, these sensors are going to come off and go on that one, so it's nothing you need to really see me do. Hi, it's been a few days. I had some flu-ness going on, so I was out for much of the week. So where we're at, I have the spark plugs in, tightened, and I am now going to put the ball joint in, and I have the ball joint here. I have an inner tie rod. We're gonna wait on that and see, and then a bunch of the plastic clips, the little ones that go around on the inside, and then some of the bigger ones that I've broken over the years. So yeah, that's going to be next. So of course, after I got it loosened off a lower control arm, it's welded itself. The ball joint has welded itself to the hub. I cut the other side ears off, hoping that it would loosen. Maybe sometimes just the vibration gets it loose, but this time I was able to cut enough, and then this bent down, and I've been chiseling this screwdriver through here, but I've been hammering this screwdriver in here. There we go. And I heated it up a bit too, but it looks like we've got separation. Aha! Aha! It is out. All right. So, one thing to be aware of is Logan reminded me of this, and it's something we've had happen. So he suggested that I loosen this nut so that the axle is like free, because if this pulls forward too much, it could separate the mechanism in there, and we had that when we were working on a Volvo. So what I'm going to do instead is, because I tried and I can't, and also check this, it's got this nice This is a locking mechanism, but I tried using my impact. I think I just don't have a strong enough impact. You know, maybe I should go purchase one with my tax refund. Anyway, so I'm just going to try to get this out nicely, nice and cleanly, without disrupting this whole thing, and get the other one in right away. Oh, okay. Alrighty. Let's see if we can get this. Okay, that's nice and settled. I'm gonna bring that surface up a little bit. All right, yeah, that's just not going very well. I cleaned up the hole a little bit, and now I'm just working the bolts in and walking it up into its spot. Seems to be working okay. There we go. There we go. So now put it back together. First thing, try to remember that installation is reversive removal. So first we're going to, God, I don't remember. Oh, I got bulbs, so I'm going to replace these bulbs just for the side here, and then the front marker. Put this thing back together, and then I think it's putting the front bumper on, reattaching this. Now the bumper, it just I just laid it in here. It goes kind of in between these little tabs here, and I lightly screwed that one and that one in, and then those down there, they're not quite tight yet. And then what I also did was I got on the other side of this and I made sure all the tabs were fully in. This one's broke here, but there were a bunch that weren't fully in, and because I never had the bumper off, I never actually fixed it. So now the next step is to there's a screw, there's, based on where this was, that goes there on each side, and then these tabs go in, and as well as these get locked in. Then it will be attaching the lighting. Here. That is a 10mm. that in. Let's see, put these little spots. Let's just pop in there. Nice. Right. I think while I have this off, I'm actually going to clean in here. It's probably never been cleaned. Let's help it look a little nicer, even though everything's starting to get a little bit old, flaked. So we got our lighting. This one goes up in here. And this one goes to there for the front parking lights. Put it in and turn it. Fog lights plugged in. And I'll check those before I put this thing back on. I think these were 3 watts that were in there, and they said 5 watt. They're a little bit brighter, but I think that should be fine. I don't think it'll melt it. It's going back together. Next thing is take this thing down. So yeah, I don't know if I ever pointed out that because of this, it's just, I just put it up here and zip tied it, get it out of the way. And so now I'm going to put that back on, bolt that all up, and it will be headlights. Oh, this grill probably comes into play sometime soon. Such a noisy engine. That's going to be annoying. Well, just when you think we're done, got a sound that started up. I've got a rattling sound, and so I've got to try to isolate where it's coming from. It's either coming from in here or down there. So here's the sound. So yeah, you can tell it's kind of intermittent. It sounded initially like it was a timing chain, so The guides looked okay when I had the valve cover off, so it could be maybe one of these things isn't working right, but I have no codes for that. So I'm going to take the belt off and see if it goes away. That was one of Logan's suggestions. At first I was like, maybe that's not a good idea to take the belt off, but it's just a drive belt for the accessories, so it's not going to mess anything up, like timing or anything else.